The first trial in the murder of a USC grad student wrapped up closing arguments. The verdict is now in the hands of the jury.
High school students got their voices heard while voting for president for the first time. See how they cast their ballots.
Know that there are other people and that there are people that love you out there and people that are going to support you, and accept that is so important to see.
It's the 28th anniversary of National Coming Out Day. Two students share their stories with us.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
The first trial of the murder of USC grad student Jinran Ji is now in the hands of the jury. I'm Brittany Hope.
And I'm Aaron Hendel. 18-year-old Alejandra Guerrera is the first of 4 suspects facing murder charges in the beating death of Ji back in July 2014. Both the defense and the prosecution gave their closing arguments just a few hours ago in a downtown LA courthouse. The defense has argued Guerrero hit Ji in self-defense because he had grabbed her arm. But Guerrero admitted the group she was with had targeted Ji because he was Chinese and thought he had money. The prosecution says Guerrero should be found guilty based on evidence including Facebook messages showing she planned an attack. The prosecutor also said she admitted to beating Ji with a wrench as he returned to his off-campus apartment.
Not alleging that Ms. Guerrero had the intent to kill. So then you look at the or. With reckless indifference to human life and as a major participant, aided and abetted the crime of robbery, which resulted in death. That is our position.
Guerrero was 16 years old at the time of the crime, but she is being tried as an adult. Jury deliberations will begin tomorrow.
A new women's prison may soon be going up in Lancaster. A group rallied against the jail plan today outside the LA County Board of Supervisors meeting. Annenberg Media's Kaylee Heck talked with a former inmate.
Selena Coleman served time in prison.
25 years ago, I was incarcerated in Mariloma.
She was charged with assault with a deadly weapon and says prison is a place she never wants to go back to anytime soon.
It wasn't nothing nice.
Coleman lost more than her freedom when she turned herself in.
I was only incarcerated 17 days, but it was 15 days too long because the 15th day I was there, my daughter died from sickle cell anemia.
Now she's taken a stand against the proposed women's jail in Lancaster alongside the No More Jails coalition.
Tell me what community looks like!
Protesters say the jail shouldn't be built because of the risk of contracting valley fever.
So for a jail population that cycles in and out of jail without adequate health care, we're very concerned that they're sending women and that young children will be visiting their mothers there.
Valley fever is no stranger to the Lancaster area, about 80 miles north of Los Angeles.
It's a respiratory infection primarily. That is, people develop cough, chest pain, shortness of breath. But also, many patients will also experience arthralgias.
The Board of Supervisors said they're putting out a new environmental report today, but since they didn't vote and it's an ongoing issue, they declined to comment. Protesters still hope to stop the jail altogether.
If it means we have to block bulldozers, we will block bulldozers from the building of this jail.
As for Coleman, she wants to see the money for this jail go to youth programs instead.
I think they should be putting the money into after-school programs and programs to prevent our youth from even seeing a jail.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Kaylee Heck.
Tonight, both presidential candidates are dealing with the fallout of leaked information. Annenberg Media's Lauren Day joins us with more on the effects of hacking in this election.
Thanks, Brittany. WikiLeaks released a third round of hacked emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, which uncovered more details on the inner workings of the campaign. The leaked emails reveal current DNC chair Donna Brazile may have shared a question from a CNN town hall with the Clinton campaign ahead of the event. Correspondence with Elizabeth Warren shows the senator might have attempted to influence future Clinton personnel picks. And emails between Clinton campaign staff expose a hesitancy to hit Bernie Sanders on gun control policy. The Clinton campaign has not formally verified the emails. Political expert Dan Schnur weighed in on the influence of WikiLeaks and hacking on this presidential election.
The Trump video raised the threshold dramatically. for how impactful a WikiLeaks release would have to be. 1 week ago, a release of the type of information that's come out in the last few days could have been significantly damaging to Clinton's campaign. In this context, it barely raises a ripple.
Donald Trump took to Twitter to criticize Republican leaders who stopped supporting him after vulgar audio recordings leaked last week. Trump said, quote, "It is so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to," end quote. The Republican nominee also tweeted, quote, "With the exception of cheating Bernie out of the nomination, the Democrats have always proven to be far more loyal to each other than the Republicans," end quote. Former Republican presidential candidates Chris Christie, Marco Rubio, and Ben Carson all expressed their continued support for Trump. You can follow our political coverage on uscannonburgmedia.com. Brittany, back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. Students at Venice High School made their voices heard today by taking part in a mock election. The students filled out fake ballots to vote on the presidential candidates and a number of statewide ballot measures.
It's really amazing, you know, we're happy us young kids have a voice and we actually can, you know, participate in the voting and everything. So that's really awesome.
I'm undecided at the moment, but I think I am, just so I can get, like, my point across, maybe.
California's Secretary of State Alex Padilla was at the event to encourage students to take part in the mock election and vote in the future.
From what I saw today, there's a lot of excitement and, of course, awareness about the upcoming elections. Part of our message, though, is to make sure that they realize it's not just when we're voting for president that's important to make sure we're registered and casting ballots, but every election is important.
Many of the students will have the opportunity to officially vote for the first time this November.
Proposition 64 is the measure which would legalize marijuana in California and continues to stir controversy. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan breaks down exactly what Proposition 64 means for California.
High above Wilshire Boulevard in the Miracle Mile, Chris Sage is making a mushroom risotto. He's a first-rate chef trained in Michelin star restaurants in LA and New York.
Stuffed grape leaves and rigatoni are my top two favorite dishes, but now I've gone and elevated those into another stratosphere.
Another stratosphere because of an added ingredient, marijuana.
I say that I'm food-centric with an accent of cannabis.
Sage is a cannabis entrepreneur cooking gourmet dinners up to $500 per person for a 10-course meal of THC.
When they're getting the munchies, I'm going to give them stuff on the heavier side. When they don't have the munchies, I'm going to give them stuff on the lighter side.
Every dinner is different, designed with the tastes of the patient in mind. And to make sure no one gets too much weed, Sage hands out a tolerance questionnaire before the meal.
Get a nuance rather than, where you're in the corner, cuddled up and you're freaking out.
He aims to create a cerebral experience for his guests with sensory rooms, spectacular views, and even soulful music.
At the end of the dinner, they can sit back and say, holy crap, what just went on? And that's what I want.
Sage isn't the only businessman looking forward to the possibility of legalization this November. Owners of dispensaries like this one could also cash in big time if Proposition 64 passes.
I view it huge as for the whole industry.
Jason Beck is president of a West Hollywood dispensary. He expects sales numbers to reach, new highs if the measure passes.
In Colorado, they increased their sales by close to 100% on the first day. And so I would anticipate in a market like LA, I think that could be anywhere from 200 to 500 times.
And with the referendum polling at nearly 60%, Beck, Sage, and other cannabis entrepreneurs are at the forefront of a marijuana revolution.
Really, it's become this giant experiment that I get to personally be involved with and be one of the pioneers in.
But until voters can officially cast their ballots, Sage plans to keep on cooking. For Annenberg Media, I'm Cole Sullivan.
Housing experts and city officials gathered downtown at the California Housing Summit to discuss affordable housing in Southern California. USC's Professor Raphael Bostich discussed how the rising cost of housing in LA is affecting students.
Well, it affects students like it affects everyone else, in the sense that that's more money that you're going to use for housing that's not going to be available for other things. And those other things could be books, those other things could be food, those other things could be your vacation trip if burdens get sufficiently large.
USC students living in non-USC housing say they continue to find ways to keep housing costs down in an expensive city like Los Angeles.
I share one house with 5 roommates, so even though one house is kind of expensive out here, but still we split to 5 people, so it's kind of cheaper to share with other people.
I think if the prices were lower, it would definitely help, but this whole city is quite expensive, to be honest.
I used to go to school in Oregon, and like rent was like $400 a month, so it was way cheaper over there, but obviously the cost of living is a little more expensive down here.
Dr. Bostich recommended students use their voices to encourage local officials to support development in the LA area.
President Obama says he hopes to have people on Mars within 2 decades. One expert says it's very possible mankind will take that giant leap forward.
And Samsung is recalling its new Galaxy Note 7 for product defects the same day the company goes before the Supreme Court. Hear how stores are dealing with upset customers.
The LGBT community is celebrating National Coming Out Day. Some students reflect on their personal stories.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
Today marks the 28th anniversary of National Coming Out Day, a day when members and friends of the LGBTQ+ community join together to celebrate acceptance and equality. Coming Out Month was celebrated on campus with the release of the Outlist, a digital document where LGBT members and allies can pledge support for gay rights. The USC LGBT Resource Center estimates that 10% of USC students identify as queer.
Definitely struggled with the identity, trying to figure out what fits me, and I found that thus far pansexual is kind of a great label for people who don't want labels because it's very inclusive. So for the Outlist, I found out about it last year, and this is when I was still very new to it, and so it was really, really exciting for me to get to sign something like that because I didn't really have this, distinctive moment where this is where I came out. It was just kind of so smooth and natural. So having that kind of gave me a foothold where I could say, this is one way where I explicitly come out.
So I'm bisexual, so I'm attracted to men and women. When I came to college, I wasn't really coming out to anyone here. I just wasn't comfortable. I wanted to be the new cool Cole and escape kind of high school. 2 years ago today, I made a big post on Facebook kind of just saying this is who I am. I haven't really been completely honest with a lot of people in my life. A lot of people don't really understand the bisexuality thing. They're like, oh, so you're just you're gay. And I'm like, well, no. Functionally right now, yes, I'm in a relationship with a man, but that doesn't mean I'm not, still bisexual.
For more information and support, email the Resource Center on campus at lgbt@usc.edu. Samsung Electronics announced it would stop production of sales of its Galaxy Note 7 smartphone. Battery overheating and fires were just a couple of the problems users faced, even with newer versions of the phone. The decision comes just one day after Samsung told customers to stop using all versions of the phone. One AT&T employee says the recall affects the sale of other Samsung phones as well.
Well, actually, just yesterday I sold one and they returned it that same day once they got home because his wife was just like, no, that's the one blowing up. I'm like, no, it's not that one. But she's like, it's still my safety, so I'm not going to take it.
Samsung did battle on another front today. The U.S. Supreme Court, the company argued about how much it should pay if it infringes on an Apple design patent. Samsung told the justices the damages awarded should come only from the profits of the outside design of the phone, not the entire phone.
If Samsung wins, it means that there will no longer be these huge monetary damages that Apple is demanding, because every phone has within it hundreds, if not thousands, of patents that apply to that phone.
The design patent case began in April 2011, and a decision probably won't be announced until sometime next year. You know, Aaron, today was the first time this school year that I actually brought a jacket with me to school.
It's getting deep into October. Halloween is approaching. Rachel, what is going on with the weather?
Temperatures are cooling down. We won't have any drastic changes in temperatures, and there's only a 10% chance of rain this week, so you can probably leave the umbrella at home for now. And currently it is 65 degrees, so it is starting to get cooler. It's actually going to drop into the 50s later on tonight, so you might want to start sleeping with more blankets. But tomorrow in the Inland Empire area, it's going to be sunny and warm for them. 90 degrees in Palm Springs, 76 in Riverside, so a little bit cooler than last week, but still looking at some warm temperatures. Tomorrow near the coastal areas, it's going to be 65 in Malibu, so also pretty chilly as well. Starting to cool down there, cloudy in the mornings, but gradually increasing with some sunny afternoons there. Here in the USC area, we're also looking at some cooler temperatures, 71 tomorrow, and near LAX, it's going to be 67 degrees. So starting to get a little bit chillier, but no drastic changes, just a little bit. If you look at my 5-day forecast, you're going to see an increase here and there, but for the most part, it's still going to be nice and sunny, so leave the jackets at home for now. Before going to sleep each night, most of us millennials have this ritual of checking our phones and watching Netflix, but I spoke with a sleep specialist who says this isn't the best way to get a good night's rest.
I noticed about a couple weeks ago when I started school that I wasn't sleeping as well as I was hoping, and I didn't really know why.
Brittany uses an app called Sleep Cycle, which helps keep track of her sleeping habits.
And so it tells you kind of when you're awake during the night, when you're sleeping, and then when you're in deep sleep. So it's kind of really helpful to see how your activity affects it.
But one USC sleep specialist says an app is not the best way to solve the problem.
Have a good breakfast in the morning. Definitely keep hydrated. And don't do any of the bad habits. Don't force yourself to go to bed. The bed is only meant for one thing. That's sleeping. Don't exercise too late at night. People forget that, is that when you lie down, your body needs to cool down. And when you get up, you warm up. So definitely exercise, but earlier in the day.
In addition to those healthy habits, Dr. Dasgupta also recommends not drinking coffee past 2 p.m. and not watching the news before bed, although we don't recommend that one. So do you guys watch the news before bed?
I always watch the news before bed. I will continue to watch the news before bed. I will try to stop drinking coffee after 2.
I'll echo both of those suggestions. Rachel, thanks so much. The USC Laboratory of Neuroimaging received a grant for nearly $22 million to study seizures caused by epilepsy. Researchers will work with 15 sites worldwide to help develop a cure and look for ways to prevent the brain disorder. USC Provost Professor of Ophthalmology Dr. Arthur Toga is one of the study's principal investigators. Toga says the goal of the study is to examine subjects with post-traumatic brain injuries in order to eventually predict who is going to develop seizures. He also stressed that while USC is the lead site, data will also be sent to scientists around the world so they can develop their own studies as quickly as possible. Toga noted studying the brain requires a lot of people, which is why working on a global scale is so important. According to the World Health Organization, about 50 million people worldwide have epilepsy. USC picked up another big win this week, and the MLB playoffs are heating up.
That's right, Aaron. It's October, which means sports are in full swing. Let's toss it to our sports anchor, Jeff Dubroff.
That's right, guys. It was a wild week in sports. The USC football team got a much-needed win over Colorado. And the men's water polo team continued to add to their season trophy case with another weekly award. And yesterday, baseball fans said goodbye to a
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home walk restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Bowl.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to ATVN. USC football picked up a much-needed win last Saturday, even while committing 5 turnovers. Once again, however, fan favorite Adoree Jackson crushed it, and today was recognized for a superb play. The dynamic Jackson was a monster and was selected as the Lot Impact Player of the Week this morning. He racked up 6 tackles, a 47-yard punt, and 1 interception that just about shocked everyone in the Coliseum and sent the fans into a deafening roar. The Trojans are now back at 500 for the first time since the second week of the season and will travel to Tucson this weekend to face the 2-4 Arizona Wildcats. Let's take a look at how these teams stack up. The Arizona defense will come into this game giving up 270 passing yards per game, which is tied for 102nd in the country. USC quarterback Sam Darnold is coming off back-to-back 350-yard passing games, the first USC freshman to do so since Todd Marinovich. Darnold has currently the 4th best passer rating in the country and is tops among freshmen. A strong offensive performance from Darnold could push USC to 4-3. Once again, the USC men's water polo team had a successful weekend, and at what seems to be a weekly tradition, one Trojan standout picked up a weekly award.
Every game is motivating for me, and I'm trying to do my best in each game, and I think I'm doing best as games are coming and actually better. It's great, of course, but it doesn't mean anything until we go to the final. My team needs me, and I need my team.
This week's the Trojans' Marin Dasic was awarded as the MPSF Newcomer of the Week. Dasic entered the week averaging less than a goal, but must have had a hearty bowl of Wheaties before this weekend. Dasic scored 2 goals in each game against Pepperdine and UC Irvine. The number 3 Trojans will have the week off and will resume play this week on Sunday against UC Santa Barbara at home. After losing Game 3 at home yesterday, the Los Angeles Dodgers had to rely on ace Clayton Kershaw to extend their season. Kershaw has started on only 3 days of rest, a task not for the faint of heart. The Nationals struck first in this game in the top of the first, but it was the Dodgers' Adrian Gonzalez that hit a 2-run home run to take the lead in the bottom of the first. In the bottom of the third, however, the Dodgers left the bases loaded after only scoring a run after a hit by pitch. In the bottom of the 5th, Jock Peterson hit a double that scored Josh Reddick and extended their lead to 4-2. A go-ahead single by Chase Utley in the top of the 8th and a lights-out 2-strikeout performance from Kenley Jansen keep the Dodgers alive in the postseason as they head to Washington for Game 5 on Thursday. Kershaw racked up a total of 11 strikeouts. Taking a trip up north, we have the Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. The Giants scored in the bottom of the first to take a 1-0 lead. John Lackey has 1 strikeout with Matt Moore with 2. Strange things keep happening each week, and after internally debating the strangest thing I saw this week, I selected this one because it's sheer just ineptitude of what happened. Take a look. So right now you see Bills quarterback Tyrod Taylor scrambling to pick up a fumble that looked to go past him. But if you look a little closer, there is Bills center Eric Moore. But there's Tyrod Taylor. He's lined up behind the left guard. And naturally, Eric Moore is going to snap the ball straight back, which causes it to go right by Taylor. I mean, honestly, this is just, in the long run, that doesn't really matter, I guess, because the Bills won the game, but you're getting paid millions of dollars a year and you pull that? That just cannot happen. That's all I have today. Now let's toss it back to Brittany and Aaron at the desk.
That definitely...
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Bro? Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones. Don't even. And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
President Obama reaffirmed his commitment to sending humans to Mars by the 2030s. In an op-ed on CNN.com, Obama says he hopes that with the help of private companies, it will be possible to travel to the Red Planet.
I think getting to Mars by 2030 is accomplishable if we put our minds to it. Is that we have a lot of the core technologies for propulsion, for life support, for medical monitoring. We have a lot of those things in place, things that we didn't have back in the 1960s when we started the moon program. So now it's just a matter of taking all these resources, kind of, marshaling them in the right ways.
T-minus 15 weeks and counting until the next president takes the oath of office. This president hopes the public will continue to support space exploration and research. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. For everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Aaron Hendel.
And I'm Brittany Hope. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Thanks for joining us again. Good night. Great. I tried.